Hey everyone, it's Fox from modelmakingguru.com here, and just a very short video relating to gloss varnishes and my new tried and tested favourite gloss varnish. Now, those of you outside the UK or even in the UK will have known that for many years the sort of industry standard go-to, apart from model making brands, was Future or Klear. It was a product for putting a gloss finish and protecting your wooden flooring, your tiles in kitchens and bathrooms, things like that. The brand name has changed a million times. The original Future and Klear, a clear liquid, sadly are long gone. And up until recently, I've been using what was kind of in the UK and in the US, I think, and Canada and some other places, the modern version, which is this Pledge multi-surface wax. It does go by many other names, so this is just one name. Now, I've been using this for a few years and I've gone on about it at great length. You can spray it on through an airbrush, you can brush it on with a brush, you don't dilute it, it goes on, it's shiny, it self-levels beautifully, it keeps things flat, and it's a brilliant acrylic varnish basically. You can use it to protect decals and ready the paint or the model for weathering and washes, all kinds of brilliant uses. Most notably, one of the main uses for this kind of varnish, and especially for the original Klear and Future, was to take clear parts and dip them into it, wick off the excess and leave it, and it would make clear plastic canopies and things like that stop looking like crappy plastic canopies and actually look like more like glass. The original Klear and Future did it brilliantly. Pledge multi-surface wax and the modern versions do it not bad, but not as good. This is a creamy liquid. It's kind of this colour. And in Europe especially, because it was so little kids didn't drink it thinking it was water. I'd go figure. So this is the one we've been using for years. However, there's a new kid on the block. Allow me to introduce you to new Pledge Floor Care Finish. Haha, this is the new stuff, and this is what I've started using. This is, by all accounts, closer to the original Future and Klear. It's a clear liquid, as you can see. It smells incredibly like strawberry daiquiri, which really is tempting when you're spraying it to not wear a mask because it smells so nice, but you should wear a mask because this stuff will rot your lungs like nobody's business if you breathe in the vapours and particles. Now, this is what I'm going to be using. It does suffer from the same problem as all the other variants of this product in that there's a billion different names for it. There is a limitation with this product. It's at the moment US and Canada only, as far as I'm aware. So if you live in the UK or Europe and you want to get some of this, you're going to have to import it from the US. You're probably going to pay a lot of money for one bottle, $15, $20, when it's probably worth about $5 or $6 anyway. And a lot of times you can only buy them in like bulk packs of 6, which will cost you over $100, $130, $140. However, I managed to get hold of 2. And this is my now go-to standby. If you're looking for this one, the thing to look for is there are different Pledge floor care type products. This is Floor Care Finish. Shine, protect, restore. 2 times more shine. I won't make that joke. I've made that a million times in the last video. The one to look out for, there is also a similar name product, and I forget the name, which is a floor cleaner. Don't use that. That will just take your paint off. The one when I got this, the thing I looked out for was this. This little circular diagram of a wooden floor and 2 times more shine. Those are the 2 things. I saw loads of different things with similar names, but I was like, is that the varnish, or is that the clean, or is that something else? I don't. So in the end I was like, you know what I've seen is this one. I went for this one with the wooden circle and 2 times more shine. And I've had some really good results with this. So I'm going to use a bit of video that I used from my last Strike Gundam video, which shows me using it. So it may mention things that aren't relevant. And when we come back, I'll show you the results you can get. So, to the pre-recorded film from some other video. Okay, so here we are in the happy spray booth. I've got my Pledge overexposed floor care finish. 2 times more shine. 2 times more shine. And I have decanted some into a small bottle. All we're going to do is take our airbrush. We're going to put some, use it neat, same as Pledge multi-surface wax, use it neat, don't dilute it ever. Stick some in the airbrush. Now this stuff smells fantastic. Whereas the Pledge multi-surface wax smells a bit kind of flowery and lemony, this stuff, it kind of smells like, I don't know, strawberry daiquiri perhaps, is a slight similar flavour smell it's got. It's weird, it's very pleasant. Right, let me turn on the blower. Compressor. Okay, so if you remember me doing Pledge multi-surface wax before, I'll show you how to do it. It's dead easy. This is the one that hasn't been done yet. So all you're going to do is first and foremost do a light mist coat, just to give some tack for the next few coats to grip onto. So you're not going too heavy, just a light misting, so you're not just putting the first coat onto, you know, the old coat. You want something fresh for it to grip to. Tell you what, this smells fantastic. Although, having said that, once I've finished, I will of course go and put my mask on and do the rest of the parts. Always wear a mask. Right, so it's got a light misty coat on there. I'm going to give it a little bit more. I'm going to give it some air, just to flash it off. Remember, we're doing this just to lock in the decals and the paint chipping. Lock in the decals so they don't come off, and lock in the paint chipping so it doesn't get discoloured by the weathering that comes up afterwards. So now let's go in with a heavier coat, first of two. You can go quite a bit heavier here. Like Pledge multi-surface wax, this stuff does self-level, and it does so very well. It's going slowly this time. Trying to keep the airbrush parallel to the piece I'm spraying, just so it's all even coaty. It's a little more tricky to get into these recessed areas. I'm not bothered about the poly caps, because this stuff won't do any harm to the poly caps. May make the joints a bit smaller, but then once you put your ball and socket joint together, a bit more air now. Once you put your ball and socket joint together, it'll remove any of the varnish that's getting in the way anyway. So I'm just giving it some air just to flash it off again. Okay, now we're going to go with our second coat and go a bit heavier again this time. A bit more generous. Man, this stuff does smell very nice. As you can see now, it's quite a thicker coat. Kind of smells like bath time when I was a kid. Because I'm going heavier, I can afford to move a little bit faster if I want to. Try and make sure to get it into all the little recesses. Go from different angles. I tend to be a bit more generous on the last coat. Move quickly with a big blast just so it's not pooling up anywhere. Okay, and that is done. Now if you do put too much on that you see it pooling up, this is just going to be left to air dry now. Let me turn this off so you can hear me. And knock the light. Now if you do put so much on that you start to see it pooling up somewhere, don't panic. If you say I did this and it was pooling up along here when I put it down, all I would do is take a little bit of tissue, a little corner of a piece of tissue like this, and as I've said before, I'd just touch it to the bulge of the gloss, and it would wick the excess off, and then you can go and leave that to dry. It, like the other stuff, it will self-level very nicely. It won't come out quite as glossy as it's looking right now. It always looks really nice, but once it's dried a little bit, it will level off a bit. You might get a little bit of orange peel, but it will lose a little bit of shine, so it's never going to look quite as good as that. Okay, so now you've seen how it's applied. It's exactly the same as Pledge multi-surface wax, no different at all. For me, that's a mist coat, 2 normal coats, and then leave it to air dry and self-level. this is the result you get. A really nice, really shiny surface, and I'm really pleased with that. It's a nice acrylic top coat. Perfect for, you know, pre-decals, post-decals, pre-pin washes, anything you need to do. Now, if you're making a shiny model like a modern fighter plane or a car, or anything like that, it's not quite that shiny. Perhaps if you do more coats, it may be more shiny. I've not experimented because, as you know, I don't do shiny models. Or maybe even if you put a few coats on and then buff it slightly, polish it slightly, it may give you a nice glossy sheen. But I haven't tried that, so you'd need to experiment. But in terms of a utilitarian coat for pre-decals, post-decals, pin washes, anything like that, this is absolutely perfect. It'll give you a nice smooth surface, and your pin washes should just whiz down any panel lines by capillary action. So yeah, really, really good. If you have lots of bottles of Pledge multi-surface wax, don't panic. If you're just using, like me, for utility coats, just keep using that. But when it starts to run low, really consider getting yourself some of the Pledge Floor Care finish. It's the modern version. It's more like Klear. I haven't tried it on a Klear part yet, dipping it in, but I have seen other people do it, and it does give fantastically glassy looking results. So, yes, remember, if you're going to get it, you might pay a lot, but it's worth it. Pledge Floor Care finish, wooden circle, 2 times more shine. It is expensive, but don't panic too much. I painted my whole 1/60 scale Strike Gundam, all the armour parts and exterior, and I used from the bottle about that much. So for most modelling purposes, that's going to last you a long time. And I got 2 bottles because I'm an idiot and I needed to spend the money. So this is going to last me for a long time. So just wanted to show you that. If you're looking for Future /Klear / whatever the hell it's called nowadays, Pledge Floor Care finish. If your old Klear and Future is running out, or if you're on the Pledge multi-surface wax, it's worth having a think. Still keep the old Pledge multi-surface wax if you've got it. It still has its uses. Like that, it can be brushed, it can be airbrushed, so keep that in mind. If you have, you know, say you've got making a model tank, but you want to keep the tools that are on the side of the tank looking shiny, do all the painting, do all the weathering, get it all matte, and then brush over with some of the Pledge Floor Care, and it'll restore that bit of a shine to it. Similar thing for the eye cameras on Gunpla. If you've matte top coated your model and it's gone matte, which is what the matte top coat is for, then afterwards, when everything else is done, you can always go back in with a fine brush and just brush over some of the Pledge just to get the gloss back on those eyes. Brush it on, let it dry for a few hours, go back with a second coat. Do it gently, do it carefully. You should avoid any brush marks and your eye cameras will now look super shiny again. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Go get yourself some. It's strongly recommended. So that's going to do it for this little mini review. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to go follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Address is here. It's always very valuable when you leave me your feedback on there or on the YouTube comments here. So make sure to do so. If you've got any questions, hit me up on here on the YouTube comments. Hit me up on Facebook. Twitter, I tend to respond to Facebook more. But if you're not on Facebook, hit me on Twitter. Also, feel free to put feedback on my Patreon page. If you are liking my videos and want me to make more and have more free time, do consider supporting me through Patreon. It means I don't have to go and get a job and I can spend all my time making videos for you guys. And as always, adios amoebas.